ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात्कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ फिफ्थ मंत्र य इमं मद्वदं वेद आत्मानं जीवमन्तिकात् ईशानं भूतभव्यस्य न ततो विजुगुप्सते एतद्वै तत् page 243 243 it is there fifth mantra भाष्य यः कश्चित् इमं मद्वदं कर्मफलभुजं जीवं प्राणादिकलापस्य धारयितारम् आत्मानं वेद विजानाति अन्तिकात् अन्तिके समीपे ईशानम् ईशितारं भूतभव्यस्य कालत्रयस्य ततः तद्विज्ञानात् ऊर्ध्वम् आत्मानं न विजुगुप्सते न गोपायितुम् इच्छति अभयप्राप्तत्वात् so one who knows jiva the individual one who knows that definitely everyone can know but one who yakashit is definitely a special person but qualified person one who has done certain homework is able to know what antikat ishanam bhutbhavyasya one who is one who is all this who is a ishitaram one who is a ruler of master of the three periods of time. Wow. When will I know him? When will I have a sakshatkaram, realization of that? No, 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 no. Jivam. Yah jivam ishitaram abhedena veda vijanati. Samipat. One who knows this jiva, who is a bhokta, is none other than Ishvara. Anyway, so madvadam, madhuvat tishtatvat karmaphalam madhu. So generally, the ishta karmaphala basically is called madhu. And madhvadam, one who eats that, one who experiences karmaphala, is the bhokta. So karmaphala bhujam Bhashyakara says. Madhvadam means karmaphala bhujam. And that is what? Jivam, individual. And what is that jiva? Pranadi kalapasya dharayitaram atmanam, jivatmanam. One who is basically one who holds this prana, etc., the senses and everything. Is this jiva? How we holds prarabdha? Because of prarabdha. Right now I'm holding prarabdha, right? But the prarabdha is ticking down. When the prarabdha will be over, gone, and therefore, pranadi kalapasya dharayitaram, one who holds this group of pranas, means you have to include. Prana means the mukhya prana is the pancha prana. And gauna prana in Shastra is our senses, organs of action and senses. They are called gauna pranas because they exist because of mukhya prana. When mukhya prana is living, they cannot remain in their golakas. They also will have to live. That is how pranasya jeshthatvam shresthatvam. That's a story in Brihadaranyaka and even in Chandogya also. And I think in other Upanishad also. Maybe Aitareya, I think. But I'm not sure. So anyway, so pranadi shresthatvam, jeshthatvam. Prana is a jeshtha, shrestha. Because all sense organs and organs of action, they cannot function in absence of prana. They cannot, even prana becomes weak if you can't eat food. Your sensory power also, your organs of action, your walk, etc., talk, everything slows down. Everything becomes weak. Becomes weak. That shows that mukhya prana alone is the one who sustain. Therefore, indriyas are called also in a secondary sense prana because they are sustained by the prana, mukhya prana. So pranadi kalapasya dharayitaram pancha prana karmendras, everything who holds this jiva holds that. And that dharayitaram atmanam, so that jivatma basically is ultimately they want to say it is Ishvara alone. And jiva means who is pranadharani, jivati iti jiva, I told you, one who breathes, one who is alive, etc. So this jiva who is a bhokta. In fact, they are going to say that this, one who makes this karma phala enjoyable, possible. That's will be the lakshartha of that. That we'll see. So, here it is going to say this atma basically, who is appearing as a karma phala bhokta, is really abhokta. Abhokta atma appears as bhokta. So we have to know this abhokta atma. Bhokta is atma, remaining abhokta. Bhokta is atma. Now I can very well say everything is atma ultimately. Rather than saying everything is mithya, everything is atma. That's better. Yeah. Saying wave is mithya. Say wave is water. Saying pot is mithya. No. Pot is clay. That's best. Pot is clay, jar is clay, etc., etc. Pan is clay. Clay is the atma of everything, content of everything, truth of everything. Right? That's a better way of saying mithya, rather than. Mithya means there is satyam. There cannot be mithya other than satyam. So-called mithya, the form basically. We have seen today. It's a form. Why, if everything is atma, just say atma. Why you say chair? Right? Why you say chair? If everything is atma, now the sarvatma bhava is coming. So everything is atma. Why do you say chair? Why do you say pot? Why do you say clock? Why do you say muktatma? Say atma. Atma is coming. Atma is listening. Atma is talking. Atma is walking. Atma is standing there. Atma is sitting there, receiving pujas. Everything is Atma. Why do you say this way? Because basically there is a form. There is certain form. And therefore, when we say a given thing, that's a form. And that form is the form basically cannot change the content. No form can change the content. Part form cannot change the content clay. Therefore, I can say pot is clay. In and through, all over, pot is what? Clay. Therefore, pot that way is just a form. Form. Anyway, that is called superimposed. Same thing. Pot is superimposed. Generally, we don't use much because Swamiji, who is superimposing? One who has ignorance superimpose. He is not aware of the reality. That's it. Nothing else. Because he takes himself to be a named and, having a certain form. Here itself he has done first imposition, then everywhere he does imposition. Here he does an imposition on the Pratyagatma, body, another one form, mind, senses, prana, all these are names forms. The content is consciousness alone. And therefore, here he are not knowing I am the content, I am the Brahman, consciousness, limitless consciousness, not understanding imposes. Then the same person basically imposes this is a chair. Content is what? Chair. No, no, no. Content is Atma. Everything. So everything is basically based on is has a basis in Atma. Now I can very well say I'm not going I am Brahman, etc. Again, please. Okay, because we have spent a lot of time in that. So yaha imam madhvadam Veda. So this has to be kept in a view all the time in a teaching. It is present in everything as a content and it is free from everything. Consciousness is consciousness. Yeah. Consciousness is present in a knower, I said in the morning, in the known, in the knowledge, in and through, right? All over knower, yet it is free from all the three. Free means it they call transcending. But a transcending again brings some idea. This living this down somewhere and then going up, transcending. Nothing of that sort. In terms of reality. In terms of reality, this is that way it is mithya, names and forms. Their content is satya. That's the reality. That is the truth. So, yaha imam madhvadam antikat means samipe veda vijanati. Antike means Pashakara says antikat means antike and samipe. Well, samipe means abhedena. Abhedena vijanati. But abhedena, well, he sees himself totally identified as what? Ishanam, Ishitaram, Bhutabhavyasya Kalatrayasya Ishitaram. Well, so Bhutabhavyasya Ishanam Veda. This Atma here, which you call it as a Bhokta, well, drop that. That Bhoktrutvam is mithya actually. Basically, that Atma is Ishanam. Jagataha Ishanam. Abhedena Veda. Means Soham. That Ishvara, who is Kalatrayasya, Bhutabhavyasya Ishanam, who is a master, who is the very basis of the time, right? Kalatrayasya. That timeless Atma alone is this time-bound Bhokta. Right? Atma alone, the consciousness alone is the knower. Same way, consciousness alone is this experiencer, enjoyer of various karma phalas. Madhvadam, Jivam. So one who understands this fact that Jiva is not an independent entity, distinct from Ishvara, Jagat, etc. Whole Jagat is Ishvara, it includes your body, mind, sense complex. What is here which is not Ishvara? That's the best way to know Ishvara. What is here which is not Ishvara? But there must be something, Swamiji, that belongs to I. That is not. The very I, Ahankara, who says I am an owner, I own something, is born of ignorance. What belongs to Ishvara, Ahankara claims as his own. That's it. Nothing is there. Very Ahankara is Ishvara. That's what I told you yesterday. Ahankara is Ishvara. Because of avidya upadhi, you tell yourself as Ahankara, that much. As that avidya goes, means you won't claim Ahankara as yourself, but you claim Ishanam as yourself. in that case, ahankara still remains, body still remains, the identification still remains, world remains, everything remains as badhitam. Mithya. Mithya is something which will not go away. Even if you understand the reality, right? Even if you understand that the pot is clay, pot will not die, will not be destroyed. Pot will be right there. When even if you say the ring, etc., is mithya, it is gold, ring will not be destroyed. Ring will remain ring. But badhitam, right? Badhitam. This is how Ishvara. Ahankara remains. But mithya. You gave a reality. You thought it is Atma. Atma is real. You thought Ahankara is real. That is the issue. That's your Upadhi. That's a Jiva. You are Brahman. So, I am Karta Bhokta, etc., etc. No, no, you are Abhokta Atma. Appear as a Bhokta. That's it. For that purpose, this equation has been shown. Ishvara is what? Abhokta, Swamiji. Akarta, etc. Abhokta. Well, that is what you are. Abhedena. Samipe. Antikat. Ishitaram bhutbhavyasya kalatrayasya, etc. And after that knowledge, well, what? Tato na vijugupsate. So Bhashakara says, Tataha tad vijnanat urdhvam atmanam na vijugupsate na gopayitum ichhati abhaya praptatvat. Vah. So Tataha, then, well, means after tad vijnanat, Tataha means tad vijnanat urdhvam. After knowing this oneness between me and Ishvara, right? I thought I am Bhokta. No, I thought, oh, now I understood that I am Abhokta Atma. When I say I am Abhokta Atma, you are Ishvara. I am Abhokta. Then tad vijnanat urdhvam gopaitum atmanam na vijugupsate. Tato na vijugupsate means tatah means tad vijnanat urdhvam atmanam na vijugupsate. Well, he doesn't want to protect himself. He doesn't want to save himself. He doesn't want to make the self better. No, no, because he is because of ignorance, he was already bettered. So now, now you understand there is no need to become better. Yeah, I am the best. There is no question of becoming better. Swamiji, better than the best. No, there cannot be. Once you know, once you know your whole, where is the question of improving? Yeah. You want to become better. What you want to become, that's what you are. Over. That's what the wholeness is. What you want to become, thinking that that is better, but that is you. Therefore, there is no question. One cannot become second. That is what non duality is. One cannot become second. One doesn't become second. That's what the consciousness is. No division at all. No two consciousnesses. One is a jiva, conscious being, individual, bhokta, karta, limited in knowledge, and this and that. Other is say sarvagnya, sarveshwaraha, karma phaladata. This is karma phala bhokta. Whole thing has gone. Equation. Antikat Veda. One who knows this, well, he doesn't want to protect himself. He doesn't want to save himself because he doesn't have a sense of insecurity. Yeah. Abhaya praptatvat. Look at that. Having accomplished this abhayam, fearlessness, well, he definitely doesn't want to protect himself. If there is a second thing, definitely, when you say there is a second thing, then definitely there is a bhayam. You take yourself as a jiva, there is other jiva. If you take yourself as an individual, there is another individual. If you take yourself as jiva, Ishvara is different. If you take yourself as a jiva, Jagat is different. Then you want to protect. Yeah. So basically, every mosquito can cause fear then. Yeah. So basically, I who is released from this notion. So, Swami, in life, fear will be there. Why? What is the source of fear? Other is there. It this There is a fear from other. That's wrong. That there is a other is a source of fear. Other is not a source of fear. That there is a other is a source of fear. No, no, Swamiji, that's not correct. Okay, that's what we are going to discuss. So that notion of limitedness, etc., I am limited, etc., will go away on wake of this truth. Identity. Identity means not, oh, Swamiji, both are independent, both are real, but because this Jiva is so fortunate, he merged into Ishvara. They both are independent consciousnesses. Limited consciousness, limitless consciousness. Limited consciousness slowly, Samipe, has gone, and merge. No, you drop the notion that I am a jiva with the help of this knowledge of Aikyam. Hmm. There is no question of filling the gap between you and Ishvara. One can never fill the gap. As a limited being, if that is the reality of me, and thinking that I will merge into Ishvara, which is limitless. Very first thing is limitless Ishvara. How can it be away from you? That's the first thing to be known. No, limitless. He is limitless, Swamiji, but he is away from me. Wow. When you say you are limited, different from Ishvara, you have made Ishvara in your eyes limited. Your attributes are your attributes. Your body is your body. You are owner of that. Your senses are your senses. Your perceptive power is your power. Nowhere Ishvara comes near. No. Oh, Ishvara pervades me. No, no, he is different from me, distinct from me. He is no more Ishvara. And such a idea that there is a distinct Ishvara from, I am distinct from Ishvara. Ishvara is a source of fear. There is another jiva, is a source of fear. Not that there is other. I have idea that there is a other individual. That idea is a source of fear. That's a thing. Anyway, so jnanat urdhvam. Well, what is a jnanam? That there is a one non-dual consciousness that is me. There is no vijati. Oh, Swamiji, there are two things. And therefore one will have a source of, one will be the source of fear for other. What two things are there? Swamiji, one is a sentient, conscious, other is a inert thing. Inert thing cannot become a source of fear, but still, I mean, like, a inert thing cannot have a fear, I'm sorry. But I, the conscious being, can have a fear of inert things, right? Can have, like a knife, insentient, is a source of fear. My God, anything can be a source of fear. Yeah. A pointed needle, source of fear? Inert. It doesn't have fear of me, but I am a conscious being, Swamiji. I will have, there is always a fear from it. So, vijati, there is no vijati. Sentiency, insentiency is in a given form, there is the addition of one more thing that's also equally inert. And that particular addition is not there in other. Therefore, that is insentient. When that particular thing is added into that, then sentiency, consciousness emerge. Everything is consciousness alone. All names and forms are my own appearances. Atma's appearances, Brahman appearances. But one is sentient, other is insentient. That is due to Sukshma Sharira. Right? So Vijati is not there. Really, there are two species, sentient beings, insentient things. And therefore, I, the conscious being, definitely belong to one species, have a fear from inert things which belongs to another species. Vijati is not there. Sajati. There is another conscious being, another jiva, other individual is there. Fear. Or other conscious being, Karma Phaladata, Sarva Shakti, Antaryami. My God. Even I have a bad thought, he knows inside. He knows inside. And Swamiji, I do puja, but I don't have that attitude of devotion and all. He will not give karma phala, I am sure. Right? So other conscious being who is knower of everything. Fear. There is no sajati at all. Samana jati. No. There is no other conscious being. No other jiva, no other Ishvara other than you. And swagata beda. No, Swamiji, okay. I'm one consciousness. Okay, fine, fine. No sajati, there is no other conscious being, no inert thing. Fine, fine, fine. But swagata beda. I have certain limbs, and that limbs I may lose, right? Like I have one body. I am this body. Okay, I am this body. Ascension being. But I have in that one body several limbs are there. And fall season comes here also. And in fall, tuk, 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 tuk. That's how, Swamiji, show your old photo, old 30 years ago. Oh, Swamiji, you are having a lot of hair. What happened? Fall, fall season. Losing the limbs, fear of losing the limbs, even in a one thing, not afraid of any other thing. Just swagata veda. And therefore, losing teeth, losing sensory power. Yeah. First time when you lose, when a possibility arises that you are now listening, you are hearing less, your hearing capacity is impaired or has weakened, fear will rise. One teeth, fear. You comb and you just do that. Oh my God. Immediately rush and bring some shampoo which can shave my whatever left. Turning even hair color and everything. Several things are there. So then, even not fear of other, here itself, swagata, swaprapta, yeah, various limbs, fear of losing the limbs. So basically, that kind of so one homogeneous, we have seen one homogeneous whole consciousness. All these are my manifestation. This body, mind, senses, all are my appearances, just appearances, nothing more than that. And therefore, saying I am body, mind, sense complex, one will definitely have a fear. If one says oneself as a jiva, bhokta, karta, everything then, later. One who says oneself as ahankara will be always having a fear. And but Swamiji, then how will I become if I don't get a knowledge? In my experience, I will be always a fearful. No, in spite of uh, not knowing that the subject object both are one alone, consciousness alone. Even if you don't know, you become free from, in a state of ignorance, you have an experience of fearlessness. Yes. Even in a waking state, sometimes you always bring deep sleep state. Okay, let's keep deep sleep state away. That's a daily experience. Subject object resolves. But in spite of subject object awareness, that is object, this is subject, that awareness. Both are just one consciousness, that knowledge is not there. Yet you have an experience of fearlessness. And therefore, fear can never go from the life. That's a wrong statement. You have an experience of fearlessness in absence of knowledge. Absence of this knowledge that you are the basis of everything, everything is mithya, so called subject, object, ahankara, and everything. I, this, etc., everything is mithya. In spite of that, you have. When there is a subject, object, alignment, no fear. When you see, when you see a small plant, especially when I see here, in now the season has started. You know, certain that yellow flowers you might have seen. Whole thing becomes yellow. My God. Yeah. You see that several. There are other plants also. And on the trail where I go, I see a literally a flower bed now. Yeah, before yesterday, Sunday, I saw again. Oh my God. And there is a matching color, yellow and violet. Really beautiful match. Swami, how do you know? It's all old samskara. So, literally, it was so. I thought of taking video. Then I thought, what will I do with this? It's still there. Mm. Excellent. In fact, if it is object, you are not flower, you are saying, yeah, how can I say I am flower? So it is object, you are subject, clear division. Yes, clear division. Then it should give you a fear. Dvaitathi bhayam bhavati. Then why do you stand there? If it is threatening you, why do you stand there? I just stand there. In fact, I think that, I should be always here, 2, 3 hours just watching all this. Therefore, just because you have this kind of an duality awareness, right? That there is a other thing will be always a fear. No, sir. When there is a subject object alignment, subject object fuses into, as though fuses into one wholeness. Who experiences wholeness? Not there. You, the conscious being, experience wholeness with an alignment of the object. That time there is no fear, even though you don't have a knowledge. Oh, flower also and this shrub also is just consciousness. This ahankara, the subject, the seer of the flower also is the same consciousness. Oh, I'm limitless consciousness. Nothing. In fact, if we study also, it doesn't come at that moment. We literally forgotten. Therefore, subject object alignment means wholeness. Both are covered in one wholeness. You have an experience of wholeness, and at that moment, the object doesn't threaten you. Therefore, in spite of not knowing you as a non dual self of subject and object, you have an experience of fearlessness, experiential, you have an experience of fearlessness in this kind of situation. Yeah. So, and other thing also I have seen that, on sometime on the trail, certain insect which crawls and they are literally as of made of velvet kind of a thing. Velvet, small one. Literally, as a whole body is covered with the velvet. I see them. When you see them, wow. Generally, insect in place of mosquito will be there, but that insect, no. That shows that somewhere you have an alignment with the object. Somewhere you don't have an alignment with the object. Somewhere you have an alignment. When there is alignment, there is no fear. It doesn't become a source of fear. And here there is no alignment. Would you follow? Here the subject object fuses as though into one flame of wholeness. That is you. That wholeness is you, consciousness alone. Experientially, they are fused. Knowledge wise, not yet fused. Knowledge wise, fusion means both are nothing but my own appearances, they are mithya. And therefore, it drops the very notion from you that there is a other thing. Could you follow? That there is other thing, it is dropped in light of the knowledge. But if it is not there, one has an experience of fearlessness or wholeness. So to bring wholeness, you don't need anything big. Subject object wholeness, that's an experience. Yeah. That wholeness is very much nature of yourself. Etad vai tat. That's what it is actually. So this person does not, such a person who knows this, right? A identity of oneself with the Ishvara, timeless Ishvara, Bhut Bhavyasya Kalatrayasya Ishanam Ishitaram Adhishtanam. This person doesn't make any effort to get rid of fear. He doesn't make effort to get rid of fear means there is no fear. Yeah, if fear is there, he will make effort to get rid of. So he doesn't tatona vijugupsate. Gopaitum na ichchati. He doesn't want to protect. Rakshitum. He doesn't want to protect himself. Means there is no sense of insecurity or fear. Would you follow? So well, he doesn't want to get rid of fear, reveals that there is no fear. Along with the I sense, there is always fear. Fear of survival, death, etc. Fear of void, fear of loneliness, fear of not being included, fear of being rejected. All indicates I as an individual. Swamiji, he rejects me. He doesn't include me. Then what will happen when other person whom I love will not be there? Void, fear of void. All this kind of thing. Fear of death. Again, sense of individuality. Fear of loneliness. Yeah. Fear of loneliness. My God, it's an entirely different thing. In spite of the people around you, you feel lonely. Yeah, in spite of. Hmm. Anyway. Okay, so reveals, well, this fear reveals that I'm different from everything else. Everything is to be handled. Known forces, unknown forces. Unknown forces different from me. Unknown forces, well, means one's own karma is unknown force, which makes me fearful. And it includes one's durita also, and which you generally try to, that's how you want to know about your future. Mm, that's the thing. That's how that is indicated in your chart. So you take your chart and show thousand places. Wherever you go, this person shows always a chart. Even they come to the Swami also. Swamiji, do you see the I have brought? I say I don't know at all. I don't know what is the movement of this Rahu and Ketu and what is that. I just don't know. Unknown force, karma, will attack me somewhere. Some unknown thing, some unpleasant thing may arise in my life. Known force, right? Known force. Oh, so and so is a source of fear. You want to take care. Anyway, so adrishta, adrishta both. Even adrishta, drishta in other way also. Invisible. Adrishta means invisible, like virus, COVID. You all the time cover your mouth and go. Even if you go in open area, somehow you feel that something will attack. Those people who cover all the time have this fear. Something which is invisible. Visible means you need not. You have to take care of physically. Visible. Something invisible may attack me. All the time. How many things? So you have to handle these forces single-handed. No, no, Swami. I take I take care of all these forces. I handle them, deal with them with the help of a one person in this world who always helps me. Then definitely you have to handle that person. Okay? You have to deal with that person then. Whatever the person's help you take, you have to deal with that person. And that person also, you have some conflict, this again source of fear. Then you call another person to deal with this person. Then you have to deal with that person. This is samsara. Just because you take, I am this. You are bogged down, bogged down, and bogged down. That's how after gaining birth, by the time we reach middle age, 40, 50, most of the people are tired. Literally, because the movement has become slow. Not movement, physical movement. All that enthusiasm has slowed down. And you are in search of certain scapegoats who has brought this lack of enthusiasm in me. And the immediate scapegoat is your spouse. Person will have a more conflicts, not initial years of the marriage. After 10, 15 years, more conflicts. Because there is a lot of frustration. Initially, you had a number of, it's a big list you had, and you thought you are able to achieve anything. You are able to convert this, or change the world. That's what the characteristic of this young adult. They think they are the smartest people in the world, and they can change everything, even including the economy of the world's countries and everything. That's what the hormones. And within 15, 20 years, they know that I can't change even my own shirt. Yeah. And then that frustration you superimpose on the immediate scapegoat called spouse. Yeah. Being in India, of course, you continue. Swamiji, we are under one umbrella and one chat, what is that? Huh? One roof, yeah. Oh, we'll continue. Better luck next time. I will think of some other partner. In next life, I will pray right now that I should have a better partner. Inside, this is going on. I am telling you the truth of the thing, okay? There may be here and there some exception. This is a story of generally people. This is a story of a psyche of a human being who is a samsari, who doesn't have an insight into this. One who takes oneself as just an individual, one cannot be free from this. No way. No way. Whatever you try, you may not brand the other person thinking of having a fear of conflicts and other, think that other issues will be there. It will affect our children and these and that and several things. So you may not openly blame others. Then you may blame yourself. You continue to blame yourself. That creates another issue. If you keep on blaming yourself, that leads to frustration. That leads to breakdown ultimately. So it's a huge, huge problem in a humanity. No society is free. No society is free. We say Indians are better. Not, no way. I don't think at all. I don't think. There we always pretend that things don't go out, other than a very close circle, really speaking. Issues are there. Because the root is that I sense, the sense of individuality is the only root. Anyway, so this here, of course, we are thinking about this tatona vijupsate. Basically, one doesn't want to protect, save oneself. One doesn't have a sense of insecurity. One who gains this knowledge, every individual has that survival instinct, intrinsic survival instinct. Basic individuality itself is having that particular fear. And well, we call samsara fear, original fear. And one who gains that knowledge, abhayam pratishtham vindate. Basically, one who becomes, because the bhaya hetu, the identification with the hankara, nothing is nothing is to be thrown. Nothing can be thrown. It's a Ishvara Srishti, including ahankara. Nothing can be thrown, and nothing goes out also. Even with your sankalpa, ahankara will not go. The reality to the ahankara, claiming yourself as ahankara, the jiva, the individual, only goes in light of this knowledge. Ye imam madhvadam veda abhedena ishanam bhutabhavyasya ishanam veda. Oh, I am not jiva. I am not an individual who is seeking security with the begging bowl. No. I am kalatrayasya ishanam. I am the very adhishthanam of the kala. Look at that. That's my reality. This is just a my appearance as a karta bhokta. This is my dignity is this. Wow. In that case, all whole this thing will go away. So freedom from fear is possible because this bhaya hetu goes away. And I told you already, reason for fear is not other. The reason for fear is the notion that there is other. That's it. Dvaitam is really speaking not a reality. Dvaitam is basically notion in you due to ignorance and due to notion that there is a individuality and that individual, well, once you say I am a limited being, individual being, everyone is different from you, distinct from you, including other jivas, jagat, Ishvara. And then fear will definitely be there. So we call this as original sin. Our original sin is this ajnanam. And then born of that is sense of individuality, ahankara. That is basically original sin for us. So abhedena gnatva, that jiva is not separate from the total. Wave is the ocean. I take myself as a wave. I should not take myself as a wave. I am water. Water takes itself as a wave, just one wave. No. Oceanness and waveness both are mithya. Ishwaratvam and Jivatvam both are mithya. What is reality is Brahman. Consciousness is the reality. Consciousness appears as the Ishvara. Consciousness alone appears as a Jiva with a different upadhi, mithya upadhi. And therefore, Jivatvam and Ishwaratvam both have the same order of reality. All that is there is just Pratyeka Atma, which is Brahman. That Brahman alone appears in the form of Jagat. And well, I am being Brahman. I alone appear in the form of this Jagat. All these are my forms. I am the content of every form, name and form in this world. So it leads to Sarvatma Bhava. Not exactly, it will coming in the next verse or next mantra also. So this is how it has been said. Let's go further in the Bhashyam. Yavad hi bhayamadhyastha anityamaatmanam manyate tavad gopayitum ichhati atmanam yadatu nityam advaitam atmanam vijanati tada kim kaha kuto va गोपायितुमिच्छेत् एतद्वैतत् iti purvavat. So previously it was said, right? Because Bhashyakara says bhayamadhyastham. So he suddenly brought this from where? So earlier it came jagaritantam, swapnantam. So there it is said jagrita madhyam, swapna madhyam. What obtains in waking state? What obtains? Dvaitam, called subject object. What obtains in a dream state? Subject object. Dreamer dream objects. Waker waking objects. And that duality is the reality. That's what the person, the waker, thinks. That the object is different from me, Ishvara is different from me. Other all jivas are different from me in the waking world. And therefore, that way the waking state basically is a source of fear. Same way, dream. That's how Bhashyakara says bhayamadhyastha. Means bhayamadhyastha means basically, this I mean the waker and the dreamer who has this notion naturally because they have identified it as a waker. They are consciousness only, but they have identified, they call themselves as a waker or dreamer, considering waking world, dream world as separate from them, oneself. Then definitely, they are in the midst of bhaya madhyastha. They are in the midst of fear. So bhaya madhyastha indicates the person who obtains in the waking state and dream state. What obtains in a waking state also is the consciousness alone. Consciousness appears as a waker. Consciousness appears as a dreamer only, but not knowing you take waker as the reality only. Then in that case, this fear will be there. So Bhaya Madhyastha indicate that of the fourth mantra. Bhashakara there itself he said, Jagritantam is equal to Jagrita Madhyam, Jagrita Vigneyam, etc. If you see the Bhasham, it is there. So Yavat Bhaya Madhyastha, indeed, as long as Bhaya Madhyastha Anityam Atmanam Manyate, one consider oneself as impermanent, this anatma, anityam atmanam. Actually, ahankara is anatma only, but due to that, there will be always a fear. And subject object are opposites. Once you take yourself as a subject, then object is different from. They are opposites. And you are subject, then someone else is object. I am subject, other is object. When other is a subject, you become object. Right? That's how it is. Then in that, where is the fear, etc.? Where is samsara? It is there. When you are subject and other is object, there is always a guilt. If you are subject, other is object, definitely. It creates a guilt in you. Other is object of your action. I mean, when you take yourself as subject, karta, and other is object, means you become a doer of an action. And as you do the action, definitely, well, you will have a guilt. When you become object, you are subject to be objectification by others. In that case, there will be hurt. Oh, Swamiji, he is jealous to me. Yeah, he is jealous to me. Means he is a subject. One who has, he is jealous. He is a subject. I become an object, etc. So then you get hurt. Oh, he insults me. So he's the one who does action of insulting. I become object. And therefore, there will be samsara. Subject object is taken differently means there will be samsara. Then fear also will be there. So I am object for others is a mistake. I am subject separate from everything else is also a mistake. I am object for others is a mistake. I am subject separate from everything else is also a mistake. So I myself in due to this ignorance, I myself frame as a samsari. And then Vijugupsa will be there. I mean, Jugupsa will be there, not Vijugupsa. I'm sorry. A Vijugupsa will not go. Vijugupsa, I think we here doesn't stand for some opposite. Vijugupsa means a fear, sense of protection. That will not go. That will always be there because of the bhayam. So anyway, so that's how Swamiji, whether your knowledge works or not, subject object should go. Why you did not mention about deep sleep state? When you say bhaya madhyastha, then you mention only two states only, right? Jagritam and sapna. You did not mention deep sleep state. That's also your experience. But there I don't experience subject object. So bhaya madhyastha, this basically I am in the midst of the fear. That is only in both the states. But why there is no fear in the deep sleep state? Oh, subject object resolves. But Swamiji, I don't enjoy. When subject object resolves, nice, there is a joy. But the very enjoyer is not there. So I want to be the enjoyer of this nirvikalpa. Right? In a waking state, I can enjoy. But vikalpa is there. Object is different from me. I am subject. In dream also, object is different from me. And subject is different. Dreamer is different. Dreamer has an experiences. And that's how even in a dream, fear arises. Seeing a thief or some tiger or anything arises naturally. You wake up, it goes away. That's a different thing. But in a dream. So therefore, the best solution is in a waking state. We should create a situation by which subject object just resolve. And you also gave example also that subject object alignment occurs. and wholeness occurs and fear goes away, and I enjoy fearlessness and etc. Therefore, all the objects are not objects of fear, source of fear. I could appreciate that, but I want to have that in a waking state all the time. Then I will remain fearless. What should I do? Well, there is a fourth state, because Jagritam means this will be there. Sapnam means this will be there. Deep sleep resolve, but I can't enjoy in that state. When I wake up again and there's all, and then I still just cherish. Oh, like people always cherish some good experiences. No, talk about what is in present, right? So this is therefore the fourth state, and that is nirvikalpaka samadhi. Yeah, that is very good. So, because ultimately a thought becomes nightmare, right? It's a thought. I thought, this thought, subject, object. So, this person wish to have a mind without the thought. In deep sleep state, thoughts resolve. Mind resolve, thoughts resolve. I thought, this thought, you experience. I want to have this, basically this nirvikalpaka samadhi. So, he wished to have a mind without thought. Means mind, let it be there. It's like a brain dead. Person is alive, but brain dead. Like that kind of a thing. Because no thought should be there. When the brain is dead, no thought. Still heart is alive. The person is alive. That kind of a mind he wants. No thought means no thought. As the thought arises, I thought arises, this thought also will arise. Subject, object, issue. So wait for the last thought to go. Drying of thoughts. That is called vasanakshaya. They call vasanakshaya. Drying of the thought. I'm waiting. That last thought, bus. After that, gone. I'll be nirvikalpaka. Problem is not that dvaitati bhayam bhavati. Well, if you stand small in front of this object which is not a source of fear, which is in alignment with you, well, basically there is no bhayam. So you should have an alignment with the object. Subject should have an alignment with the object, and that alignment is there. You are not aware of. Both stem from the one thing. Therefore, there is alignment. Both stem from one. Both resolve into one. Stem from one. Resolve into one. Appear from one. Disappear in that one. You should know that. That's it. If you know it, this alignment you will be always aware of. Experientially, you have this alignment, but knowledge wise, you don't have. And that is why, well, whenever there is alignment, people here, I think before few days or something, I think they said you are going to see some kind of a moon. They said, right? The biggest, it has, eh? Blue moon or this copper tone moon, something. I forgot now. So people wanted to see that. People go to that poles, what is North Pole or somewhere, right? For the what is that called? That very beautiful shades of light. Northern lights. Object. You are subject. You don't say I am northern light. Clear division between you and it. But somehow that there is a other, that notion gets dropped. When it gets dropped, when basically the subject, I am this, that sense of smallness, sense of individuality drops. When it gets dropped, when that individual ahankara merges into that object. Yeah. Experientially. Like a reader merges into a detective story. Like a painter merges into the object of painting. The painting is different. He doesn't say, I'm painting. Or like a music lover gets resolved, right? The one who loves music is subject. He doesn't say, I'm a Bhim Palasi. He doesn't say, I'm a Malcounts. No, he doesn't say. So he knows that's object. But somehow that ahankara resolves, they become fused. That's an alignment. And when they fuse in your mind, that there is other is not there. When you are able to drop that there is other, you see the wholeness. In spite of you don't have any knowledge of. That really both stem from the one thing, that knowledge is not there. Yet that there is a other gets dropped because you love it so much. You become free from this notion. Anyway, so so it's not that the second thing that makes you fearful, that there is a second thing, that notion makes you small, right? That notion makes you small, and or or means one against all, basically. So that goes away experientially. Anyway, so Atmanam Anityam Manyate Bhayamadhyastha. One who is, well, basically Bhayamadhyastha, one who, the jiva who is amidst the fear in these two states, then one consider oneself as a small, limited in time, limited in time bound. If you take yourself time bound, fear will be there, sense of insecurity will be there. So, yavadhi, indeed, as long as this thing is there, tavat means that long, gopaitum ichchati atmanam. Then atmanam gopaitum ichchati, rakshitum ichchati. If you take yourself small, limited, time bound, individual, ahankara, ahankara is nothing but Brahman, I, consciousness, Brahman, identified with one mind. Just small mind. Identified means what? Savji, there is a mind and there is consciousness. And they merge. Like you gave examples, Swamiji, fire and iron ball. They come near and they merge, become fireball. That's called identification, Swamiji. So mind also is there, like iron ball. I am consciousness, like fire, and they both come near and merge. Swamiji, when did it happen? When did this is the issue. I am asking you when this thing has happened. That mind was somewhere else, consciousness was on that side, and they came near and become one. If there are two, that's a different story. In case of fire and iron ball, there are two things. Here there are no two things. The mind arises from consciousness, which is mithya, one name form, and this mithya name form mind arises, it is soaked, totally soaked into consciousness. Every thought, look, that's what I told in morning. Every thought, tree thought, the whole tree thought is just consciousness. No, no, Savage. There is a tree thought, and I'm seeing somewhere away, like that, focus. Like the focus, the light illumines this. Same way, consciousness remaining somewhere inside, somewhere, and the tree, the parade of thought is going, and I'm just illuminating. You cannot separate the tree thought and you, the consciousness. Try, try it. Okay, try it. You obtain in mind as consciousness, as the very witness consciousness, and thought arise from you, and it is soaked in consciousness. As you think, means the thought arises in consciousness. It is fully embedded with the consciousness, totally. That's how I said leaves are consciousness. The trunk is consciousness. Yeah, everything is consciousness. Like a wave is water. I said that example. You cannot separate anything in this world. Forget about now mind. Anything in this world separate from consciousness. Try. If you are able to do, both are independently existing. Try. Nothing. Everything, well, existence is proven in consciousness. Okay? And therefore, I'm timeless, basically, consciousness. So, so yadatu. So yadatu atmanam nityam vijanati yadatu. So on the other, tu means here on the other hand. Yada means yadi, or you take as a when, or yadi means if. If one knows atmanam nityam vijanati, one who understands oneself as nityam, timeless atma, then in that case, advaita atma, right? Time is not independent of me. Space is not independent of me. If time is not independent of me, definitely I survive the time. I am timeless Atma. So, which has not become second, that Atmanam, Vijanati, one who knows, well, na vijugupsate. Then in that case, tada, kim, kaha, kutaha, va gopaitum ichchati. So, in that case, well, who wants to protect? Kim, what does one want to protect? Protect. Kutaha, kasmat karanat. Kasmat, from whom I want to protect. That all goes away. All karakas become mithya. Kim kaha kutaha. Kaha is a subject, kartru karaka. Kim is a karma karaka. Karakas are the accessories which help in a kriya. So here what is a kriya? Protection. Protecting oneself. Yeah. So that is not there. So this Advaita Atma, I am one without the second, wants to protect. From what? You say, I am non dual. There is nothing other than you. Then from what you want to protect? From what you want to protect? What is other first? First decide that. What is other than you? Decide. So all of them are basically Brahman, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivati. All karakas. Everything is Brahman. And so the karakas are mithya. Oh, karakas are mithya? Means false? Leave the karaka word, leave the false word, and leave the mithya word. If you in your mind comes, mithya means false, immediately stop using word mithya, not translation. You stop using word mithya. All karakas are Brahman, Brahmarpanam, Arpyate anena iti arpanam. Anyway, that ladle is Brahman, the Yajamana is Brahman, the fire is Brahman. Ah, Shastra, Bhagavan doesn't say that is mithya, that is mithya. This karaka is mithya, that karaka is mithya. No, 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 no. Anyway, in that case, what is subject? What is object? Oh, I am subject. Kartru karaka. This object, karma karaka. If there is subject object, there is no other way to accommodate. One has to understand this basically. This is anirvachaniyam. This name forms basically don't say false, anirvachaniyam. Yeah. We cannot decide whether they are there or whether they are not there. In reality, it is Brahman. Right? About form part, you cannot say false. You don't fill up the water in a false pot. Look at that. Look at that. Swamiji, pot is mithya, so it is false. Clay is satyam. And then what you are doing? If clay is satyam, fill up the water in clay. Oh, sorry, Swamiji. I have to fill up the water in pot. Then how is it false? In fact, pot is satyam, clay is mithya because it is of no use. Ah, clay doesn't come into vyavara. You can't do anything with the clay. You do everything with the pot. You go and buy and this and that and clean and whatnot. Then break it also, ultimately, and bring another one. You do everything with that. You spend money for that. You never spend money for the clay. Lot available everywhere. Please understand it. So keep it anirvachaniyam. Oh, Swamiji, you are confused. You are talking like a Vedantin is talking. Yeah, I'm talking Vedanta only, okay? This is Vedanta. It's not Devanta. Yeah. So basically, anirvachaniyam. Leela matram tu kaivalyam. Vyasacharya ji said in Brahma Sutra. Leela matram. Oh, Leela means Bhagavan is dancing in these forms? No, no, sir. It's not dancing. It's all is a Leela. You cannot call it false. You cannot call it real. That's what the form, name form world is. What, including our Janma, Marana, everything is like this. So, kaha kim kasmat gopaitum ichet kutah gopaitum ichet. Who wants to protect, what one wants to protect, etc. From what one wants to protect, etc. So, karaka means basically, and for some people who do not know, karaka means a factor involved in action in order to accomplish the action. And certain verbs attract certain karakas. Not any verb, all the verbs attract all the karakas, all the six karakas. No. Certain verbs attract only few karakas out of six. So I'm not going into that, but this is how it is. So therefore, ultimately name form, the Jagat is anarivachiniyam. That's the meaning of mithya. But best way is Jagat is Brahman. More than that, Jagat is I. So still it is not clear. That's what next mantra. You are Hiranyagarbha, it is saying. Then it will be clear. So etadvaitat, O Nachiketa, what you ask for this is what ultimately, well, that is this Atma. You asked about Anyata Dharmat, etc. Let's go to sixth. First, let's read the Bhashyam. Yah pratyagatma Ishvara bhavena nirdishtah सह सर्वात्मा इति एतद्दर्शयति मंत्र यह पूर्वं तपसो जातम् अद्यः पूर्वमजायत गुहां प्रविश्य तिष्ठन्तम् यो भूतेभिर्व्यपश्यत एतद्वै तत्. So Bhashyakara introduces the mantra, says यह प्रत्यगात्मा ईश्वर भावेन निर्दिष्टः. यह प्रत्यगात्मा, this jivatma, inner self, Pratyagatma is here, this Jivatma, Ishwar Bhavena, Nirdishtaha, was presented, was shown. Shown by whom? Shrutya, by the Shruti. As what? Ishwar Bhavena, Ishwar Rupena. Right? This Pratyagatma, the Jivatma, who is shown as Ishwara. Identity with that in the previous mantra, in the fifth mantra. That Pratyagatma, who is shown as a Ishwara, is Sarvatma. Saha Sarvatma. So basically, this Jivatma, the inner self, was shown as a identical with Paramatma. That Atma alone, here, that in which is in the form of I, that I, the self-evident, very self-evident, self-existing I, which you need not have to experience, which is too close, inner self, which is not available for objectification, which need not be objectified, which which need not be known also. Need not be known. Known means objectified. Well, that I is the self of everything, content of everything. If you take any form and you prepare a juice of that in a mixie, that you are that juice of that any form. Nothing is left out. Yeah, you are the juice of everything, content of everything. Only juice comes out. Like certain things are like that. No residue at all. Because self-existing, self-revealing Atma is the truth of everything. As Asti Bhati, Asti Bhati, Asti Bhati. The truth of every form is Asti Bhati. Asti Bhati is Asmi Bhami. Asmi Sat Bhami. Aham Bhami. Aham Bhami. I shine, I shine, I shine because I shine. Self-shining, that is consciousness. That is I. And that is always ease. Ease. I ease. I ease. I ease. Waking state, whole waking state. I ease. Dream state. I ease. I ease. Deep sleep state. Still I is. You are there in deep sleep state. I is. So this I that means the conscious being, and is, well, that is existent, verb of existence. That doesn't go. Yeah. That's a reality. Not that I'm human being and I'm this and I'm seer, and that is changing. That is changing. Ahankara is changing, which comes and goes. Waker dreamer also comes and goes. I doesn't go. Therefore, that is Satyam. That is Jnanam. That's consciousness. And definitely distinct from the body mind sense complex. I who is sitting in the body mind sense complex is the I which is changing. Right? Oh, I was child. Now I'm old. Look, that I looks changing. Then definitely it's a subject object error. When you take object which has a nature of changing all the time, which is time bound, if you take it as a subject I, then this thing is going to arise. You take yourself as a changing ahankara all the time, and then all the issue one wants to protect oneself will arise. Anyway, so यह प्रत्यगात्म ईश्वर भावेन निर्दिष्टः, well, that is saha sarvatma. This pratyagatma I is sarvatma. This idea is going to be etad darshayati. Sarvatma iti etad darshayati. That idea is going to be presented here. Where? In this mantra. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that after. After. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.